welcome to your PrimetimeSports.com. I'm Dave Grimm. Alongside me, as almost always, he wasn't there last night, but he's most of the time next to me. It's Clifton Garmrath.
Good morning, and there's a reason I wasn't there last night.
I understand. I was
great choice.
I was, we do road games. That's what we do. We make it possible for you to hear the games that are too far away that you either can't go or don't want to go. And so since Paragould and Tech both played at home last night, we went to the next option on the list, and that's the Marmaduke Greyhounds. They were playing on the road at Mark Tree. And went down there. I brought you that game. Clifton stayed behind, took pictures at both Paragould and Tech, and got to see a wild finish at the new Greene County Tech Arena.
Well, and we have that same scenario going on Tuesday night.
Yeah, we've got it coming Tuesday also.
You're going to go. We're going to plug in CRC or CRA.
First CRA game we will bring you this
at
season.
Wiener, and the reason for that is both Paragould and Tech are at home, but it's a different situation. Greene County Tech is driving across town to Paragould.
Yeah, they're playing each other.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a different scenario. But yeah, great basketball last night all across the map in Northeast Arkansas, and had some good showdowns. Nettleton picked up their first conference win in the boys. Girls, on the girls' side at Paragould and Tech, they both remain 4-0. So it's the big showdown.
Yeah, I've got the conference standings up on the Your Primetime Sports Facebook page. Posted them up last night about 11 o'clock. And, it shows you how the conference races are shaking out here with 4 games done in the 14-game conference schedule. So... and then we touched a little bit on the 3 AA conference last night while we were on the air with Marmaduke and Mark Tree, and that thing's going to, EPC, unless they do a complete collapse in the boys, they're going to be the number 1 seed in the district tournament in that conference.
Right.
Marmaduke and Mark Tree are kind of battling it out for the 2nd seed right now, and Mark Tree won the battle last night. They actually got up on Marmaduke 24 points last night at halftime. And Marmaduke, under the tutelage of Coach Steve Ritchie, fought all the way back to within 4 with 2 minutes left to go in the game and couldn't quite pull it off. They lost by 9. They're still in 2nd place in the standings. They've got 3 conference losses. Mark Tree has 5 conference losses. There are 3 games left. So Mark Tree could still reach up there and grab that.
Right.
The only downside for them is their last 3 conference games are on the road. They don't have another home game for the rest of the season.
Mark Tree's on the road.
Yeah.
So that will be a downside for them. So tough to win on the road.
Especially 3 in a row. I mean, it's tough to win 1 on the road. Now you got 3 in a row you got to win on the road.
And let me tell you where it's tough to win on the road in any conference, and that's the 5A East.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what. Last night you had a barn burner at the arena.
And it was really exciting. I mean, Greene County Tech, there was no doubt, needed to win both of those games. BB boys come in 3-0. The Greene County Tech Eagles 2-1 in conference play. Big win for the boys and Coach Bowlin and Coach Robertson. And then our friend, Coach Greg Ritchie, returned back. And let me tell you something. He's got a girl that's a sophomore. Now, they say she's 6'4". She's going to be right close to it. I kind of stood beside her, and I'm 6'1", and I didn't see 6'4". But
well, I mean, look, you've seen me stand up.
But I'm still going to.
She's got to be close to me.
I'm still going to tell you this: she's going to be a dandy. She's just a sophomore.
Well, she's going to grow then some more probably too.
Both exciting games. The Lady Eagles won by 5, I believe it was, and then the boys trailed the whole game. And I don't know. I think with 16 seconds left, 17 seconds left on the clock, we took the lead, 44-43. I'm down on the floor with a camera, and I'm going to tell you something. The crowd noise was so loud that my eardrums expanded.
Really?
Oh, man, it was loud.
So imagine
it was
what
awesome.
It's going to be like during the state tournament.
Yes.
When Tech plays Paragould in the state tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? That's going to be the game of forever right there. It's Tech and Paragould. I'm talking about the girls on that.
Right.
Tech and Paragould girls undefeated, headed for the ultimate showdown, part 1 Tuesday night at
Paragould.
At
That's
Paragould.
correct.
It'll be on the RAM channel, channel 27. If you subscribe to Paragould Light Water and cable system, and everybody and their cousin will be at that game.
Oh yeah,
they
be a packed house.
Everybody in there that they can.
Be a packed house. It's a big win for either school. On the girls' side, on the boys' side, they just won their first conference game, one that we broadcasted at Blyville last Tuesday night. So it's a much bigger win at this time for the Eagles to go in there and not let Paragould take one away from them. Now, I don't know what Coach Bowlin's game plan is, but
we might find out a little bit about that here.
We will hear in a minute, but it's tough to go into Paragould and try to get that win.
Their gymnasium, although it's a 5A school, their gymnasium is more like what you would find at a 3 or a 4A school. It's very confined, and they like it that way because it's cozy and they can really get in the opposing team's head that way.
Well, they realize that. Don't go too far with that. They realize that that they need a new gym.
Oh yeah.
And I've had a couple school board members and some friends that have kids in the Paragould School District have told me that they're planning on building a new one in 5 years.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the first time I've heard this.
And that's a 5-year plan. I think they're putting money aside, putting money back. They're planning on doing that, and they realize that where they're at, they need more seating. Now they have upgraded that gym, and it looks really, really good.
I have not been in it since the remodel.
Let me tell you what all they've done. They put new scoreboards. They put buzzer lights around the scoreboards.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day.
I mean, they put the backboards. They put new scoreboards, okay, and they put the buzzer lights around the backboards. And then one of the things that they done that I noticed as soon as I walked in during the McDonald's shootout, they put all new lighting in, and it is really nice and bright.
Now, is it the kind of lights that when you turn them on, they got to warm up, and it takes them
5
minutes to warm all the way up?
Can't answer that question because they were already on when I walked in, but it brightened up that gym that that gym was tough to shoot action shots in. You couldn't get a good setting on your camera because it was a little dark, And man, I noticed it since I thought, wow, they put new lights in. They put in a new air conditioning system.
Really?
And so they've really spent some money and upgraded it. It's an old gym. I think it was built in '63.
Oh yeah, it's the Quonset hut design that was all the rage in 1965.
Yeah, and they did a lot of work on it, and it's nice looking. So, but anyway, let's move on.
All right, I want to quickly go over the standings in both the boys and the girls in 5A East, and we'll take a break and go to our first guest.
Give him a chance to finish his breakfast over here.
That's right. Well, he eats faster than me and you put together.
I know.
The 5A East boys standings, no surprise, Forest City still undefeated and at the top of the standings 4-0. Now, BB was undefeated going into last night's contest at Greene County Tech. Not anymore. They are now 3-1, and they're in a tie in the standings with Greene County Tech at 3-1, but currently Greene County Tech holds the tiebreaker with their win over BB. And then there is all alone at fourth place is the Blyville Chickasaws at 2-2. And then you got a log jam for the bottom 4 spots. Paragould, Nettleton, Batesville, Wynn, all 1-3 in conference play. So they're all tied for 5th.
Who did Blyville beat last night?
Blyville last night. It's on the other computer.
Okay, all right.
But they did win last night. Both their boys and their girls won last night. The Blyville team did. 5A East girls. There's that showdown looming. Greene County Tech and Paragould 4-0, tied at the top, and they'll break that tie Tuesday night at Paragould. Nettleton 3-1, and then 2 teams tied for 4th right now. BB and Blyville 2-2. Batesville, Forest City, Wynn all winless in conference play in girls action.
And I will tell you, I think, if I remember correctly, Coach Bowlin might can nod to me over here. I think last year in the girls, this is the same scenario. They were both 4-0 going into Tuesday night's game exactly last year. And it was played at Tech, and Paragould won that game.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got the same thing.
Well, I love our buddy, his name just went out of my head, Blake Gwynn.
Blake.
I love our buddy Blake Gwynn, and he was on Fast Break Friday night, last night on Channel 8, and he was, after he had already announced what the score was and who won, he said, this Greene County Tech and BB, we might be looking at number 1 and number 2 seeds.
Yeah.
Not so fast, my friend. He obviously does not know that Paragould is 4-0. So, Blake, if you're listening, that's okay. We'll give you a pass this time.
I noticed he said that, but I think he I think he did not mean to say that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was probably, had to have been a mistake, right?
Oh, yeah.
Accident.
You and I make mistakes every day on the air.
Good old Blake. And he's a member, more or less, of the Your Primetime Sports family. And I'm sure you guys will hear from him again on our airwaves.
Yeah, we love having him on when he's available. He works for KIT, and he goes to school, and he helped us during the Christmas Classic, and it was awesome, and did a great job, did 12 games for us. So, yeah, we love, when we can use him or Randy Myers or anyone that, we have out there, we take advantage of that.
Absolutely. There's some good talent. All
let's
right,
take a commercial break.
We're going to take a quick break. It's going to be about a 2.5-minute break. When we come back, Greene County Tech Boys head coach Scott Bowlin here on YourPrimetimeSports.com.
Your favorite teams play on YourPrimetimeSports.com.
All right, welcome back. Double G Sports Talk Saturday. Let me give you a little bit of slack there. There we go. I'm Dave Grimm, along with Clifton Garmrath here, live from Battens on kind of a gray and gloomy, cold Saturday morning. And now joining me on the air, trying to chew the last bite of his food over there, is Greene County Tech head boys coach Scott Bowlin. Good morning.
Good morning. How y'all doing this morning?
How'd you like your first win in the new building last night?
Oh, it was exciting.
Yeah?
It's one that a lot of people that were there will remember the first win.
Yeah, well, we say that's the first win because, unfortunately, Forest City came to town for your first game there. Might not have been the best team to have there for the first game.
No, you're exactly right.
But they handed you a loss in that building over a week ago, and now you get a maybe almost as tough BB team come in last night and pull it out at the end.
No, I think that BB is probably overall better than Forest City.
Okay.
One thing that Forest City has that really poses the problem is for us is their size, and that was exposed again last night when we played BB. They had 6'5", 6'6" sophomore that really has an opportunity to be good one of these days, or really good, and. We just sort of hung around, and we kept grinding it out. And we were very fortunate the ball sort of fell our way at the end, and Ferg made a nice play and finished the bucket, and we came away with a win. I think probably our people were as shocked as they were as far as how we did it. But right now we'll take them any way we can get them.
You've gotten to play a couple of teams now, a couple of your regular conference opponents that you see on a regular basis. You've gotten to play those guys in the new Greene County Tech arena. Now, obviously, it didn't really have that much of an adverse effect on Forest City. But last night, do you think that the size of that arena and the crowd noise inside that arena, do you think that had an effect on the performance of the visiting team?
I really don't. You say that it didn't affect Forest City. Well, it probably didn't. But we feel like if we make some shots against Forest City, we beat them as well.
Okay.
We just never could make a shot to get ahead of them. And, we just, right now we're just getting a lot better. Our defense is sort of keeping us in things right now till our offense sort of comes around. We have a hard time getting points sometimes, but we're definitely putting ourselves in a good position as far as with the conference.
I'm going to hand this to Clifton. He said he wanted to take a turn with you. Here you go.
Take a turn? I was going to lead into it, but I got up. No, I'm kidding with you. You know I am. Yeah, and I walked away for a moment, but Coach, there's lots of things when you're on the floor as a photographer, or I was down there close to the bench. You can't say enough about Andrew Ferguson and his composure last night. I mean, he played so well.
Well, he's really grown up. He's become a leader for us. It's something that we've looked for him to do ever since last year, and for whatever reason, it wasn't happening for him. And I think that he's probably playing with more confidence. His confidence level's got to be as high as it's ever been as far as with us. And we told him at the beginning of the year he should be one of the best players in the East, and right now he's playing like it.
And one of the things that I also noticed last night, and I really want to tap into this a little bit, is you've always had good assistants, and now you have Coach Jay Robertson back. And last night, I believe it was Heath Matheny fouls out. Am I correct?
No, he didn't.
Okay, which one fouled out?
I don't think we had anybody foul.
Okay, maybe he picked up his fourth foul. I thought he picked up his fourth foul. Okay. Yes. You're on the bench and you're trying to decide who you want to go in. Is it Hunter Matheny, his twin brother, and then all of a sudden you grab Lane Earls, and Lane Earls is up and starting to walk to the scores table, and I read Jay's lips. He said, "Coach, you're not going to have a ball handler."
Right.
How important is that?
Oh, it's very important. Jay started with us 9 years ago, and then he became the head coach at Paragould High School and got some very valuable experience there. And most people don't know how coaching works as far as what's expected from your assistants and what's expected from your head coach. I've had an assistant now going on, 17, 18, 19 years, and I see I've recognized when I've seen other assistants, and the one thing that they've always commented on, the ones that I've known that have went on and become head coaches, is they never were involved much. That's what we're paying them to do.
Right.
And, me and Jay are just now sort of beginning to become comfortable with what we both want us to do, what we're expected to do, and you pay those guys to coach, and that's what we let them do. We let them coach, and he has he was our junior high coach. He has a good relationship with those kids, and he knows those kids well, and he has a gift with kids, and it's something that a lot of coaches don't have, and he just has he's driven. So yes, you bet it makes a big difference. And we got Coach Jacobs over there who is learning our system, and Coach Matheny has came in and really done a good job, coming in with our young kids. So you betcha, having good coaches, you can't have enough of them.
Well, I just know he's a big asset, and I wanted to mention that. And when I'm on the floor, I'm not only am I watching the game, and sometimes through the camera, and sometimes with the camera down to my side, but I'm watching you, and I'm watching Coach Robertson, and I'm watching the visiting coach, and I'm watching the fans, so I see a lot of things go on, and so I noticed that last night, and I thought, yeah, Jay, just let him know that if he puts him in. Now, speaking of Lane Earls, here recently, he's seen a lot of playing time. I think maybe even started a couple of times.
I'm not for sure how much he started. Lane he has a bright future here. He's an outstanding kid. Comes in and comes to work every day, and he has a basketball mind, a basketball IQ. Lane Earls is going to be a player that these people here in Greene County are going to remember when he graduates. And you got to attribute good kids to good parents.
Right.
And, I don't know his parents very well. They moved in here last year from Missouri. But from what I know, they're great people. They're great supporters of Lane Earls, and they're great supporters of our basketball program. And, they just want him to do the right thing. And Lane has the opportunity, if he chooses to be as good a player as we've had here. And I think he chooses that.
And that's a lot. That's saying a lot, because in the last 6 years, there's been some pretty good basketball players.
We've had some pretty good basketball players, but I think Lane Earls, I know this young man has not played a lot because he's been hurt, but, we feel like Tanner Perkins has an opportunity to be an outstanding player here, too. Everybody has their weaknesses and strengths, and Tanner come in and finally hit a three last night, and that's what we want him to do.
Yeah.
We want him to come in and shoot. For the most part in the past, if you were a sophomore, you didn't play at Greene County Tech.
Right. And you sure didn't shoot the ball if you did get out there on the floor.
You came in there and you played defense and rebounded until the other guys got ready. But we have to depend on a couple sophomores, and we got a couple more sophomores that we're comfortable with. But just because of the numbers, they're just not able to see the minutes. Tony Valadez and Scotty Maxwell are going to be really good players for us. I mean, we really feel like that we're sort of climbing the mountain again. And I told the kids last night, and Coach Rob did too. We win that game last night. We sort of send a message out to the state that Tech's back.
Right.
And I think they've shed. I think our kids have shed that mentality that they were sort of gaining from having a difficult season last year. And I think they've basically, and we've told them this a lot too, is they've basically just said, okay, guys, as far as me and Coach Rob and Coach James, here we are. You do what you need to do with us, and we're going to back you 100%. We're going to go with you 100%. And I think now the results of that you're beginning to see it. And
right.
I think the schedule that we played early. I looked in the Democrat last Sunday. Of our 9 losses, 7 of them come to teams that are ranked in the state. So,
right.
Hey, we're pretty happy where we're at right now.
Well, and that's good. And what I was going to say a minute ago, and I didn't want to interrupt you, is I did not see as much playing time with Lane Earls last night as I'd seen in the last few games. Mm-hmm. Was there a reason for that?
No, not really. I coach with a feel.
Okay.
We're going to play. I can't really describe it. It's something that probably it's a sixth sense or whatever. We're going to go with the guys that we feel like that's getting it done out there.
Yeah.
And Seth Deering, that's who he had replaced the last 2 or 3 games.
Seth stepped it up last night.
He did. He stepped it up. We felt like that Seth wasn't producing, and so we put Lane in his place, and Lane did a great job, and we let Seth come off the bench. And, sometimes you got to send the message to kids.
Right.
And, Seth handled it well, and he was helping Lane when he was starting. And those are things that we didn't have early in the season.
Right.
This group's coming together. Our kids on the bench were excited about the kids that were playing, and boy, when you sort of winning creates so much good stuff.
Well, to win, you have to be a team.
We do for sure.
Well, I think just about anybody any sport you have to be, because if you go all the way up to the top, to the major leagues, to big time sports, at the end of the season, when those 2 teams that are final in the World Series or in the NBA championship or in the NCAA championship or even the high school championship, I guarantee you 99.9% of the time that whole team is united. They do everything together.
They do. And you're right.
They know one another very well. They're buddies. They're going to take up for one another. No one's going to run over them. From outside looking in.
Mm-hmm.
And so and if that's the direction that this group is headed, and I know they are, and I know Coach Harding has really expressed that to his girls.
Mm-hmm.
They're heading in the right direction.
Right. The thing about it is, and where I have saw this coming is, I've gotten on some of our players' tweets. They all tweet, and early in the year you didn't hear it and see it, and then now in the last 2 or 3 weeks you're starting to see them come together as far as talking about each other while they're tweeting. And from my standpoint, I've been in this for so long now. I'm able to recognize groups coming together, and I'm able to recognize groups falling apart. And the one thing that you have to do from our standpoint, me and Jay's standpoint, is we got to be consistent on who we are and what we're doing.
Right.
And then you got to have guys that's going to commit themselves to believe in us. And it's all about believing in something that you're doing.
Right.
And when you believe in that, then you're going to do everything in your power to be the best that you can be at whatever that is. And that's what these guys are doing right now. Nick Cothran has really turned it around. Andrew Ferguson, and I don't mean just playing. I'm just talking about as people.
Attitudes.
Well, this is people.
People.
And, contrary to what may people think or whatever, that is important to me, if not more important, than the winning and losing. Right. And nobody likes to win any more than me. But you know what? When you get emails and stuff, that I got an email this morning from a kid that played for me 14 years ago, and when you think you sort of down and out, and then some kid I come up and say that how much you've impacted his life, and he tries to live his life on how you coached him as far as with discipline. That's what this is all about. Ultimately, that's what it's about.
Right.
But I know we're talking right now, and hey, we're happy, but we're only as happy as our last game.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, listen, let's take a quick commercial break. We'll come back and we'll wrap it up, and we'll head into our next guest, and we'll return in 1 minute? 2 minutes. We'll return in 2 minutes with your PrimetimeSports.com here at Batten's Donuts.
Your favorite teams play on your PrimetimeSports.com.
I did that.
Yeah, but it still came through loud and clear. Hey, we're back here at Batten's Donuts here on a cloudy, or I don't know, overcast Saturday morning, a little cool. Our first round guest is Coach Scott Bowlin, the Greene County Tech Golden Eagles. Big win last night. I want to touch on something because I know what took place last year in the multi. I was there, and I know what the BB fans were probably thinking going home last night. And I heard a little bit of crowd reaction. They like to make excuses, but I'm going to follow up on this. In the second period, I don't think that BB crowd looked up at the scoreboard. They were saying that the refs were homers. The foul ratio was 10-3.
Well, first of all, what people may think or whatever, we don't have any choice on who referees our games.
That's exactly right.
We have a designated individual out of Memphis that has a group of people that he chooses from, and we have no input at all on who comes to our games. You can blackball someone, but contrary to what people may think, I don't even know 90% of the time who's even calling the game.
You didn't know who was walking in there till game time.
No, and I don't concern myself with that.
Right.
And I'll tell you why. I got too many other things. I got a team to worry about.
There you go.
When I start worrying about the officials, then my team's going to go down. Let me say something real quick. Boy, our student body last night was incredible. I mean, and like I told the guys last night, it was sort of like the old days. That place was rocking and rolling, and I've always said this about Greene County Tech fans. We have our people that are critical, no matter if they had a pot of gold in their pocket.
Right.
But for the most part, our people are very basketball savvy. They recognize when you have a good talent and when you have bad talent. But I think the thing these people want at Greene County and I've been here basically all my life, is they just want to go out there and compete and play hard. And, man, I tell you, that place there at the end when Ferg hit that he kissed that thing off the board, it reminded me of when we played Marion in the multi one year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it got loud, but our crowd definitely affected BB last night. It shook them up at the end, and our student body was fantastic. And
I agree with that, and I have to say this, I really get tickled at our rail rumblers and our student body sometimes. They crack me up, and I'm down there in front of them. I mean, they're tapping me on the shoulder and patting me on the back and rubbing the top of my head, and they have as much fun with me as I have with them. But at the end of the third quarter, I turned around and I look up, and they're all making a trail up the steps, and I'm like, what are they doing? And I mean, every one of them. I don't mean some of them stayed behind and some of them went. I mean, every one of them, which I would think was probably 60 or 70 students.
Probably more.
Probably more. They all start going up the steps, and so they take off, and I thought they are going to run a lap around the gym up high, and I thought, well. And everybody's watching them, and I look over Mr. Weeks, and I look over Mr. Garrish, and I thought, well, better enjoy it, because it's going to be the last time you get to do it.
Yeah.
And sure enough, when they all come back, I'm sitting there, Mr. Weeks is right behind me going, no more of that.
Yeah. Well, after the game, for some reason, I've never looked up in the stands, but for some reason, I looked up as I was sitting down, and I seen them trying to run around the mezzanine area up top, and I seen about half of them with their hands on their knees to already give out a breath about halfway around. So
that's why Johnny Grews last night, he said, well, that speaks highly of our health class.
Yeah, I think the boss, Mr. Noble, after the game, he said, I don't think we're going to be able to let them do that anymore. Everybody got a kick out of that.
Oh, yeah, it was fun. And they entertain us so much. They do their train thing at halftime, and I think Freeman leads them in that, and so they have a good time. They dress up, and
well, you know what? I mean, it's cheap entertainment.
Yeah.
And and I'll say this, and I'll tell our players this too, our seniors especially. You know what? We're all the same.
Right.
And some of us can play basketball, some of us can play football, and whatever. We all have a gift or that's something that we like to do.
Right.
And you know what? If you make yourself available to those kids and you let them get to know you in the hallways, in the lunchroom, and because we're all the same here, like I said. And I tell you what, the more that our student body can enjoy being around our players, and our players appreciate what they're doing, that's a great thing. And the parents know where the kids are at, and I'm telling you, this is going to be a fun run.
Oh, yeah.
Down the stretch.
And you know what makes basketball, it separates itself a little bit from football and baseball, and I'm talking about from the student body aspect, is the students are right there they're close, they're nearby, and they're screaming, they're yelling, they're chanting, they're doing everything they can. And when you have 70, 80, 90 students behind the goal, and they're making noise, and their friends know that they're rooting for them, it has a big impact. Now, at football games, you have that same student body up there, but you're so far from the field.
Right.
You're not right there on top of it like you are in basketball.
Right.
And then you throw in the girls' game, before the boys' game, so you have that impact, and then baseball is just baseball. As much as you and I love baseball, that's my favorite sport. Who comes out in 40-degree weather to watch a high school baseball game?
You're exactly right. And let me touch on something, and I hope that some of our students are listening to this. Our girls are 16, 17, and 1.
Right.
And
won 13 in a row, I think.
They've won 13 in a row, and Coach Harding has come in and done an outstanding job. In what people may not know, in a pretty tough situation, because the expectations of this year's team from the standpoint of the girls that are playing and the people that support them. And I'm one of those supporters. They were expected to do well.
Right.
And, and Coach has taken that torch and raised the level of it. And they've done an outstanding job. And our girls are playing with a lot of confidence right now. And, probably safe to say that the biggest game of these seniors' career is Tuesday night against Paragould. Both teams are undefeated, and I'll tell you this: if you don't get there by 5:15 Tuesday night, you won't get in.
I tell you what, Bruce Drope said to me last night, because we were down there by one of the goals talking, and I said he thought the game was at Tech, and I said no, it's at Paragould now, Bruce. He goes, oh man, he goes, I hate that gym. And he said had a lot of good times in that gym, but there's just not enough room.
Right.
And that's what he was talking about hating the gym.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything negative toward Paragould. It was just there's not enough room for a game that's fixing to take place Tuesday night. And he said, you'll have to get there at 3:00 just to get a good seat. And that's so true. I mean, they'll be. Hey, the inaugural game that we had at the new gym, there were people coming in at 3:30 and 4:00 that when I got there early, that were already sitting in the chairbacks.
Well, I left the gym that day at 4:15, and there was 2 people coming there and getting their seats.
Yeah.
Our new gym is it's not a gym; that's an arena. It's really, really. Going to be a great place to play for us. I think it's going to end up being an advantage. That's something else that no one really recognizes. We do have a home court advantage from the fact of our fans and our students, but we hadn't played on that floor very often. And like I said, I think that's something that if you make note of it and you harp on it, then it becomes something that they think about. People always wondered why we never practiced in the multi. Why should we? We got rentals. It's a 10-foot go. It's a 10-foot go at BB. It's a 10-foot go at Reynolds. It's a 10-foot go at the new arena.
They're all the same.
I think people make too much of something that's really not that important, or it's not to me.
Right.
And therefore, because of that, our kids never had a problem. We won 85% of our games in the multi, and we have great memories of the multi. But it's sort of like the new school. The building don't make the place.
Right.
It's the people in it.
That's exactly right.
And that's the way we look at it.
Well, listen, we're gonna take another 2-minute break, and we have Mr. Brian Coleman sitting in the wings here. He is the president of the Paragould Youth Softball Association, and we're going to have him on to talk about sign-ups that are coming up and talk about the Paragould Youth Softball Association program. And so we'll be back in 2 minutes. Thank you, Coach Scott Bowlin, for being our guest this morning. We love having you on every week, and great victory last night, and look forward to Tuesday night's game. And it's just awesome basketball atmosphere right now.
Yeah, it really is. And like I said, we appreciate what you and Grim do for all the kids in Greene County, because we sit up here in the northeast corner and we don't get a lot of publicity from Little Rock and the northwest. And this has always been a place that or an area that people really like basketball, and so we appreciate that. And we got another big game Tuesday night, and we hope to see y'all there. And we're going to show up and do the best we can
and have some fun. So
we're going to have some fun.
We'll return in 2 minutes from Batten's Donuts at PrimetimeSports.com.
Your favorite teams play on YourPrimetimeSports.com.
All right, welcome back to YourPrimetimeSports.com on Double G Sports Talk Saturday morning here at Batten's Donuts. I have with me a special guest, first-time guest, and we're going to have him on again. Brian Coleman. He is the president of the Paragould Youth Softball Association. Good morning, Brian.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Sometimes it's a lot of people shake our head at us and say, man, I want to sleep in on Saturday morning. But thank you for being here.
Hey, we had to get up early. We got my daughter plays with the 7th grade tech team.
Oh, okay.
We got to go to Rector this morning and play
That's right.
a tournament up there.
Matter of fact, speaking of that, Coach Dean from Rector returned my phone call yesterday, and we wanted him on here. He has a wonderful girls basketball program up there at Rector. And he said, oh, Cliff, he said, man, I'd love to be on there. He said, I want to be on there. He said, please don't forget about me. He said, but I've got a 7th grade tournament going on in the morning. I have to be there at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so you came in and filled his spot, and we're grateful for that. So let's talk a little bit about the softball program. And you got sign-ups coming up.
That's right.
What are those dates?
That's right. Well, we've got next Saturday. That's January 28th. We'll be signing up out at the community center here in Paragould. Opens up about 10 o'clock. We'll run till about 2-ish, but I imagine we'll run late if folks are still streaming in. And then we'll do it again in 2 weeks after that on February the 11th. It's also a Saturday. Same place, Paragould Community Center, from 10 to 2.
So you'll skip a Saturday. You'll have a free Saturday in between those two.
That's right.
Next Saturday and then 2 Saturdays from.
That's right. That's right. We'll give folks ample time to. If they miss one, they've got another chance. And there's actually a third little chance, February 19th. That's a Sunday afternoon from 1 to 3. We usually get a few stragglers say, hey, they'll call me and I miss sign-ups. And so we've added this additional third date, February 19th, Sunday afternoon, for those folks who just missed those 2 dates. There's a lot of things that come up and get in the way.
Sure. Now let's just throw some scenarios out there. Speaking of that, let's say a family moves into Paragould from West Memphis, and they miss both the first sign-ups, but they hear about it, maybe through school or whatever, and this little girl says, Mom, I want to play softball. Mm-hmm. Is there an opportunity for her to get on a team, or does she have to wait till next year?
Well, that's a scenario that we've actually faced in the past. Really? Sure enough, we've got folks who will come in and say, look, we just moved in, and it's the position of the PYSA board and Pat, who's over Parks and Recreation. Pat Austin, who's over Parks and Recreation here in Paragould, that every child gets the opportunity to come in and play.
Well, that's awesome. And that's the way it should be.
That's right.
It's just that sometimes once seasons get started or teams get formed, it's hard to.
It is. It does present a challenge, and I ain't going to say it's going to be easy, but we will certainly do our best to get everyone who wants to play in somewhere.
Now, let's talk about where's your age group start and where do they end?
Yeah, good question. We've got a little position called rag ball, is what they call it in softball terms. It's basically t-ball. Starts with your 3 and 4 year olds, so your preschool levels, and then we've got a 6 and under age group, so your 5 and 6 year olds. That's a coach pitch,
right?
Is the way that starts, and then you'll have 8 and under, which will be a machine pitch, and then from 10 through the 14-16s will be live arm.
Wow. So we teach them young around here, don't we?
We do. It's only been about I'm thinking in the neighborhood of 12 years or so that fast pitch softball has been in this area. It was slow pitch for the longest time, so it took a little while for fast pitch to get here. But they start in the 10s in this area. There's other areas, even in the state, but Missouri, you'll get over there, and some of those folks will still run 10 and under machine pitch.
Wow.
But we start them at 10 and under here.
Let's talk about another part of the program. Is how many tournaments? Do you have any tournaments throughout the course of the summer that maybe raise money for Paragould Youth Softball?
We do actually. We will. PYSA will hold 3 tournaments that are league sanctioned. The first one's just a preseason tournament, which is where we just kind of get the league teams together, kick off the season, and have a tournament. But the 2 main tournaments here are the Tournament of Champions, which will be held in April. You've caught me here.
That's okay.
It's the second to last weekend in April.
Okay.
And then the Power Track, which is in May, and we hold that at the same time as the Loose Caboose Festival.
So the Power Track is the same as the Loose Caboose Festival.
That's right.
And then you said the next to last Saturday or weekend in April.
And I believe it's around the 21st, something like that.
20th, April 20th on a Friday, 21st and 22nd. Yeah.
Last year's that was the biggest tournament, the Tournament of Champions.
Really?
We hosted 52 teams.
Wow.
To Rotary Park into Paragould. We had to even expand over into using the fields at the community center. We just didn't have enough place to put them.
Hey, well, it's nice to have those 2 fields over by the new community center because those are pretty nice fields.
Those are nice fields. Even our high school team plays out there.
Now, how many fields do you have? Now, just before you answer that question, just so our listeners will know, if you're not from here or if you do not live locally in Paragould and you're listening, our Paragould Youth Softball Association, the ball fields are right behind Walmart and Gasway Ace.
That's correct.
So beautiful complex. And so how many fields do you have on that property?
We've got 6 fields. And then you can kind of count there on the first field is where we play our 6 and unders. When you walk in through the main gate, it's the first field on the left. And out in the corners of left and right field is where we play our rag ball on that field. So that field has 3 on one. But then you've got fields 2 through 6 that will play 8 and under on 2 and 3. Field 4 will hold the 10 and unders, and then the back fields 5 and 6 will hold the 12 and 14s.
Okay. Well, I'm from here. I've lived here all my life, and I have taken a lot of pictures in the last 14 years on those fields.
Yeah.
I can't really speak of it right now, but it's really, really exciting. I'm signing a contract Wednesday out of town. Some things that we're adding to yourprimetimesports.com. I have not been able to sleep the last 3 nights. It's so exciting. So I really can't speak of it to protect your primetime and myself until that's all the legalities have been taken care of. But I got some things I might want to come back to you and say, hey, like to talk to you about these tournaments.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So, and we'll get into that later. But now, I seen somewhere. Where did I see this? And you can promote this on the air right now. You're taking applications for a couple of positions.
That's right.
Let's talk about those.
Okay, well, the first one would be for our field maintenance. It takes a lot to keep those fields in good shape.
I used to do that.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, well, you can send me an application,
hey.
letter of interest with work experience.
I used to do it at PYB.
Yeah.
I kept everything manicured. I kept everything weed eated. I kept all the trash picked up. That was the first thing I would do when I would get out there at 7:30 every morning. Is I'd pick up all the trash. I would take my blower. I kept all the sunflower seeds blowed out from underneath the stands, and people would walk up and they'd say, "Man, Clifton, this is the best East Parks I've ever looked." And I was proud of that.
Yeah.
And so kept the dugouts cleaned up.
When you get a compliment from a sports fan,
you
got to be proud.
You're doing good, aren't you?
That's right.
So, but anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's fine. We do have the position for field maintenance. Basically, they come out, like you said, keep the park cleaned up, pick up the trash, manicure the fields with mowing and dragging the fields and lining them, getting them prepped for games, for league play, and for tournaments. And then the other position we hold for a umpire in charge, or UIC. This position is for someone who's had some work experience doing umpiring, maybe 2 years experience, over 18 years of age, of course. They would be responsible for getting the umpires together for our league and tournament games.
Okay.
Both are paid positions.
What do those, and you may not be able to speak of it or speak about it, what do those positions pay? Can you answer that question?
Right off the top of my head, let's see. The UIC, the umpire in charge, would be a $75 a week for getting our umpires for league play.
Okay.
And then there's extra for when we have tournaments. I can't remember the exact amount off the top of my head.
Caught you off guard again, didn't I?
You did. I should have brought it with me.
That's okay.
I was rushed this morning.
That's
you
all
see
right.
I still have my 2-year-old here in my lap. But
beautiful 2-year-old, by the way.
She's cutie. But we've got the contract for the field maintenance. That's it's actually a $300 per week for mowing and prepping the fields and keeping trash picked up, and then they get paid extra when we have tournaments.
And I want to say something here by mentioning that. That's not bad. That's a good job. If you can find a good, responsible high school, college young man, that's a great job in the summer to have. But you have to really take pride in it. It's not one of them things that I just want my paycheck every Friday.
That's right.
because if you take pride in this and you do a quality job, a job that they're going to recommend to want you the next year and the next year until you move on to something bigger and better where the grass is a little greener. This is a great summertime job. What is it, about 10 weeks?
Basically, because we're going to start season about that second weekend of April, because the first weekend is Easter this year. So you're going to look at starting in kind of March. We need to start getting things together, and in April and May, and there's after that time during the summer season, there's 150 for every 2 weeks of mowing.
Right. Okay. Well, what I was leading into is I made a little more than that probably 10 years ago at PYB, and I had 5 or 6 fields. I don't remember. And let me tell you how good a money that is doing the softball. Softball does not have grass infields.
That's right.
Lot easier to maintain and take care of.
A little easier.
You betcha.
You drag that dirt, make it look nice and pretty and smooth.
Get your lines down.
Yeah.
So if you if you are without a job, or have a son or a dad or somebody that give them that information. Have them to contact Brian. Brian, you want to give your number?
Sure. Yeah, it's out there. I got a call this morning at 6:30 from somebody interested in that job.
Okay, good.
My cell's 931-2708. Or you can send us a letter of interest, just stating your name, that you're interested in the position, maybe give us a little work history. You can mail that to us at Post Office Box 774, and that's here in Paragould.
Okay. Now, let me throw this at you. For anyone that did not get that wrote down, for anyone that may forget that by this afternoon to pass that information on to someone, you can actually go to yourprimetimesports.com, and on our homepage we have what's called an audio on demand. I'm sure that David Grimm, my IT guy and lead play-by-play announcer, will have today's broadcast up by this afternoon, and you can go in there and listen to that. So you can get Brian's phone number, you can get that P.O. box number, and so we're fixing to take a quick commercial break, and we have one of my longtime and dear friends, Coach Bill Taylor from Manila High School. Probably in about 5 minutes on, we're going to talk some Manila basketball. They were in Harrisburg last night, came home with a big win. So, Brian, we appreciate you coming up here. Will you come back?
Yeah, you bet.
Good. Let's go. Let's talk about real quick the 2 sign-up dates one more time.
January 28th. That's a Saturday. That's next Saturday.
At the Community Center.
Community Center, Paragould Community Center from 10 to 2. And then again on February 11th, that's also a Saturday from 10 to 2. If you have any questions, call the Community Center. If you can't reach me, they'll have the information there as well. There's flyers that's been sent to the schools. There's flyers out on some businesses here in town like All Star Sporting Goods. There's signs hanging up. There's yard placards. It's on TV. It's on Tech Channel. It's on Channel 6. It's in the newspaper, folks. It's out there. You can reach me.
It is posted.
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you, Brian, for coming in this morning. That is Brian Coleman, president of the Paragould Youth Softball Association, and probably in a couple of weeks we're going to have you back up here to talk about your program.
Sounds
okay?
Like a plan.
All right. Thank you, my friend.
Appreciate it.
Hey, we'll return in 5 minutes. We're going to take We're going to take an extended break here, and we'll return with yourprimetimesports.com on Double G Sports Talk Saturday at Batten's Donuts with Coach Bill Taylor.
Your favorite teams play on yourprimetimesports.com.
And welcome back, yourprimetimesports.com. We are live from Batten's Donuts and Bakery, as we usually are on Saturday mornings for Double G Sports Talk Saturday. We're about to start hour number 2, and we've got a guest we have never had before on with you this morning, the head coach of the Manila Lions. Also, former head coach at Buffalo Island Central, former head coach at Springdale. Is that right?
That's right.
That's right. This is Bill Taylor on the air with us this morning. Thanks for coming in.
Morning, Dave. How are you?
Drove up from Jonesboro to be here with us this morning. We appreciate you doing that.
No problem.
I don't know if people live under a rock or something that don't know you're back in Northeast Arkansas. Yeah. There might be some people that the last they heard,
right,
you were leaving BIC and headed for Northwest Arkansas. But you've been back now how long at Manila?
It's my third season there.
Third season back. Boy, time just flies.
Yeah.
It seems like you just came back yesterday.
Right.
Explain to me, or explain to the folks listening, are there any fundamental differences in the way basketball is received in Northeast Arkansas as opposed to Northwest Arkansas?
Basketball is more important to the fans of Northeast Arkansas. It's more ingrained in their background. In Northwest Arkansas, it's more football. Not that there's not good football here, because there is, but there's basketball just has more tradition in Northeast Arkansas. It's at the 7A level, the play was more physical than my background at the smaller schools. It was more physical type of play, and there's people there that love basketball too. There's more passion in Northeast Arkansas than there is, in Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah, football primarily the sport of choice for most people in Northwest Arkansas. When you see all the D1 players, you got University of Arkansas over there as well. Did you have to compete a lot of times over there to try and get some of those football athletes to get to focus on basketball, or get them to come out for basketball?
No, not at all. At that level, kids make their decision down in junior high which way they're going to go. And
I see.
I think 1 year out of the 40 starters in the 7A West, 5 obviously from each of the 8 teams, 39 of them were basketball only guys.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so it's really not an issue at all.
Deep well over there.
Well, I mean, like I said, there's just so many kids. They make their decisions early, and I had the only kid in the conference that was a football player / basketball player. So the other 39 were basketball only.
That's wow. Well, let's talk about Manila. You've been back over here 3 years now.
Yeah.
How's it going over there?
Well, we're 14-6. We returned one starter this season that averaged less than 3 points a game last year, and so I'm really proud that we're 14-6. We're 9-2 in the league. The problem with that 9-2 is we're in third place. Earl has 0 losses. Rivercrest 1. Earl and Rivercrest have not played, and of course we have the 2 losses. And so we're hanging in there. We have 3 conference games left. We need to win 2 out of 3 to get that second spot. If you get the second spot, of course, it puts you in the semifinals of the district, and that puts you into the regional tournament. So that's why getting second is such a bigger deal than getting third, of course.
Now, you've got to play both of those teams again still one more time each, don't you?
Yeah, we go to Earl next Friday night, then Rivercrest at home the following Tuesday, then to Piggott the following Friday. So we've got 3 conference games left.
And they've still got to play. They still haven't even played each other at all. Is that correct?
Sort of. They tried to play. Earl broke the backboard early in the game and tore the rim down. Literally tore the rim down, and the game was canceled. So that game didn't count. It was 4-2 or something like that early. So they sort of played.
Which campus was that on?
Oh, they played at Earl.
At Earl. Well, I guess they've reinforced that now. I hope.
Yeah.
I think Clifton has a bunch of stuff he wants to talk to you about. I'm going to hand the microphone off.
Thank you, Dave.
Oh, I'm sitting there cracking up about that backboard story. I didn't know that. But
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's not the first dunk they've had this season in that gym.
I'm sure that's safe. That's a safe going out on the limb, Coach. No, it's Coach Taylor, for those that are listening that do not know, came back 3 years ago to Manila from Springdale, and the last 2 years his team has made it to the state tournament. So you, once again, I'm going to brag on you, Coach. You building a program.
It's been fun. I mean, I'm just really happy to be back, be around my family, but we were state runners up the first year. We went final 8 last year. Graduation hit us really, really hard. We're starting over. I'm really proud of the fact that we're 14-6. We've got some good wins. We've got some near misses. We're pretty good. I mean, we're nothing special.
Right.
But if you're not prepared, we're gonna have a shot to beat you that night. Now we're not. I gotta go on record. We're not playing very well right now. We are hitting the January lull, and we're just. I don't know what to do. I'm supposed to know what to do, but right now I don't. So we're just not. We're getting off to these terrible starts. literally every night I look up and it's 12-1. It's 14-3, and then here we have to fight back. We changed everything, and now it's mental. I think we just can't get rolling.
Well, and you know what? I seen that in the NEA. I came down to watch you play.
Yeah.
You knew I was there to watch you play, and I seen the West Side game, and that started out 13-1.
Yeah,
and so you're right. Let me ask you this: how do you feel that you've been coaching a long time? How many years?
This is about 27th.
27th year. How do you feel that your demeanor has changed over 27 years of coaching?
Oh, it's kind of gone up and down. I mean, some teams can handle the more intense side of me. Some teams can't. I love this team that I have now. They seem to respond better when it's more of a positive environment.
Right.
That's the art of coaching. That's the art of teaching, handling people. Sometimes, I have to change based on the team that I have. Right. I'm not gonna try to go square peg round hole. So this team needs more positive reinforcement. And but if that's your question, I think that's the direction you're going with that. But it's this team I have to be a little more upbeat with.
Well, and you answered my question. Anytime someone's put in 25, 30, 35, 40 years of coaching, there's changes that progress throughout that period of time.
That's right.
And you and I have been such longtime friends, and I've watched so many games that you've coached.
Right.
I just remember back in the BIC days, I felt like you coached a little bit more intense.
Yeah.
You coached with a little bit more of I don't want to say fire in the belly, because I know you have fire in the belly every day to win, but you had players that you had to get on to. And I know you and I have discussed this before, that good coaches, Coach Bowlin and I have discussed this before, good coaches, what makes them good coaches is they know their players, they know their backgrounds, they know their talents, they know what they can do and what they can't do. And you also know the ones you can't get on to, that will clam up on you if you do. So I just wondered how you've changed in that aspect.
That's a great question. I've watched films of when I first started. I never got off the bench. I probably because I didn't know what to do. Is that me? So, no, I mean, I would literally not get off the bench the whole game. And then as I got more confident in my abilities as a coach and to lead people, I got more involved. But I mean, I'm passionate. Everybody knows that. I'm not the monster that a lot of people might think I am sometimes on the sideline.
I know you're not that.
Well, I appreciate that. I just want to win. I just want to win so badly. I'm more afraid of losing than I am anything. I just don't want people to, I don't want to be thought of as a failure.
And I think, and I'm the same way in Clifton Garmrath Photography and your PrimetimeSports.com. I just want to win. And it's a business, and I think anyone that's ever been an athlete or a former athlete has that fire in their belly, whether it's coaching or whether it's running an operation, a business, and you have competition out here, whatever it is, you have that desire. You get up every day thinking that way, So that's the great thing about athletes, is you carry that through your adult life. But again, you have a wonderful program, and let's talk about last night. You went to Harrisburg, and
Harrisburg is
homecoming.
Second time in 3 years we've been their homecoming opponent.
Is there a reason for that?
It's just home Friday night games in the second half. It's just they're rare. But no, Harrisburg has struggled this season, and Coach Weaver's doing all he can do and doing a great job. But we got off to another terrible start. We trailed by 3 or 4 after the first quarter, down 2 at the half. Finally got the lead, up 3 after 3, and then expanded and won by 15. It's just, our confidence is a little shaken right now.
Right.
But we got, we're going to get it back. We're going to get it rolling again.
Speaking of confidence, how 27 years experience as a coach, how do you rebuild that in your players?
Well, that's going to have to be. It's going to be an interesting weekend for me. I've got to come up with something to get the. I thought about maybe doing some video clips of some of the moments this year when we were really, really good, and just to remember that. We got all that tape. We may look at some tape on Monday and say, listen, we're the same guys that have some really big wins this year, and I just, it all goes back to shooting. We're just not shooting it very well, and only thing I know to do is shoot more in practice. I mean, we'll get it going. We'll get it going.
And I will tell our listeners out there that Coach Taylor is a 3-point shooting coach. He loves to shoot. He loves to shoot them threes.
Yeah, we do. We love to shoot them, and it's easy to say great shot when they're going in. But when you're 2 for 17, I mean, what do you do? Do you stop? I mean, really, that's the thing. Do you say, okay, that's enough, or do you keep going? Well, we just keep going, and we're gonna keep chunking it, and maybe we'll bank one in.
Yeah. So hang on just
a second, because people don't know this. You may not even know this, but Coach Taylor and I go all the way back to when he was the head coach at Cattle Hills, and I was the best bench warmer Bismarck High School ever saw. I held that thing down. It never flew up in the air because I held that thing down. What's the difference? Let me ask you this. How has your game or the way you coach progressed from all the way back in the 80s at Cattle Hills to now?
Actually, it was in the 90s.
Okay, yeah.
early 90s.
Okay, all right.
But no, it's funny you bring that up. My 3-point philosophy was formed at Cattle Hills.
Yeah.
And I sort of started using that as a weapon where we were going to try to put pressure on you on both ends of the court. Defensively, we were going to press, and offensively, we were going to shoot threes. And so that's pressure on the opponents all the time. And so I sort of taken that 3-point philosophy there and used it all the way through with the idea of, even if you're undersized and you shoot a lot of threes, you get a lot of long rebounds. Because the ball bounces long, you can make up for the lack of rebounding by getting a free second chance. But probably as I've gotten older, I've let my kids play a little bit more. I try to let them make plays. Especially the better my teams are, the more I'm going to let them play. The less talented we are, the more I'm going to be involved and try to put them in the right position. Used to, I would probably try to control a little bit too much when I was really young. It was like a video game. I wanted every, pushing all the buttons. But now, if my players are, if our players are a little more talented, then I'll let them go.
And 3-point shooting, okay. 3-point shooting wasn't very old back then.
No,
it had not been in the high school game for very long. Back when you were, it's on right now. When you were at Cattle Hills, it had only been around, 3 or 4 or 5 years.
Actually, I coached 2 years without the 3-point line.
Yeah.
Okay?
Wow. Okay.
And so I've been around it a while, but yeah, the 3-point shots. I personally think we need I think we need a shot clock. I think 40 seconds would be about right, and I think the college game has it right, and we probably need to mirror more what they're doing. I think a 40-second shot clock would be about perfect at high school.
Back then, all black hair, and he was rocking the stash.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Oh, Grim, he had to bring up the hair and the stash, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll come back and finish up with Coach Bill Taylor from Manila Lions. We'll return with Double G Sports Talk Saturday in 2 minutes.
Your favorite teams play on yourprimetimesports.com.
Okay, welcome back to yourprimetimesports.com here at Saturday morning in Batten's Donuts. I have, in our third segment of our show, our Coach Bill Taylor from Manila. Let's get right back into talking basketball. We got to talking about a lot of things here, and I forgot what I was going to ask you when we came back. But let's talk about what do you have left.
Yeah. Okay.
In the conference one more time.
Well, we go to Earl.
Are we picking up, Dave?
Okay.
Oh, here. Let's do this now. How about now?
Okay. Yeah.
There you go.
We go to Earl next Friday night. We're off this coming Tuesday. We go to Earl, then we host Rivercrest, and then we go to Piggott. So we have 3 left, and then we have 2 non-conference games last week of the season against Riverside and Buffalo Island. I think probably for us, the big news is we did not get the regional tournament. Our region is different than anybody else's in the state.
Right.
We travel 3.5 hours to play in a regional tournament, and so it's not just about home court advantage; it's financial and everything else. and it was our league's turn, and that's, you use that term loosely because it's a gentleman's agreement that it would go from one league to the other. We were at Bergman last year, and we felt like we were, our school and our league was in line to get it. And through the magic of the AAA, we did not get that. Okay, so we're gonna be heading back to flipping. Yeah, and here's the thing. Okay, I could talk about this for like 3 hours, but why do we need somebody from Fayetteville deciding where we play our regional tournament? And it's never going to change. There's a 19-member board out there made up of superintendents and assistant superintendents across the state. They decide where we play our region. They decide where everyone plays their region. It's all political. They love the power. They love to sit up there in their little meeting and have watch the dog and pony show come across the stage and everybody beg for tournaments when we could decide locally where we play our regionals. And so
I am so glad that you have brought this all up, because let me tell you something. I have been on fire over the same, not this subject, but AAA. And you're right, it's a dog and pony show. I'm having the same, Dave and I are having the same problem with broadcast rights for the state tournament, and you are well aware that Greene County Tech is holding the 5A East.
Right.
And we've been told by the AAA, yes, you can broadcast the Greene County Tech and the Paragould games. We even offered to pay to do all the 5A East games, and we were told no, you can't do that. There's lots of things that we want to do, possibly even streamline all of the games. So I'm letting Coach Cahinham handle it, but it is so silly that they make all these decisions that because they don't have their hand out and they can't get any money put in the palm of their hand, and I think it's the biggest joke in the world. So, but anyway, hey, I don't care what you think. He brought it up, and I'm going to follow suit.
Yeah, I mean, it's not fair. It's not fair it's not fair that we have to travel up there 2 years in a row. I mean, it's pretty simple. 1 year their league should get it. 1 year our league should get it. I mean, how hard is that to figure out? Yeah. These are educated people, and they can't figure that out. So yeah, I'm mad about it. I'm mad about it. But bottom line is we got to go to flipping if we can even make the regional tournament. Okay, so I mean that's disappointing because we were hopeful. We were the only ones from our league that bid on it, and flipping was the only one from the other. So basically flipping breaks the agreement. Okay, so.
There you go.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. So,
yeah.
But anyway, so on the positive side, you're wanting to get into this second position. In the conference standings.
Look, Earl is.
You told me before the season ever started.
They're a huge favorite.
Yeah,
they're a huge favorite.
You told me before the season ever started that they were the pick.
Yeah,
Earl was the pick. So, and to be in the position that you're in right now. Is not bad.
No, it's not, Cliff. Regardless of the talent of my teams, my only goal every year is to make the tournament. Just get in the tournament, and then whatever happens, I can deal with. You can't win it if you're not in it.
Right.
Okay, so regardless of talent, even when I had the the Buffalo Island teams, with all the, we just wanted to be in the tournament. Get our names on the shirt, so to speak, and then whatever happens, we can deal with. So. Our goal with this team is just to get to the tournament.
Well, and I think you always have great goals, and I always believe that you have your young men prepared for the season's start every year, year in, year out, and I always believe that you have your young men prepared for every game. So I could sit here and brag on you till your head gets as big as this donut shop, but anyway, I'm so appreciative that you took my phone call yesterday and you came this morning and became a part of our program and talked about your Manila basketball program. So
let me just say this real quick about my kids. I mean, they're great kids. They really are, and I know if people knew them personally, they'd really like them. They're those kind of people. This team is very likable. They're sweet kids, sometimes too nice.
Yeah.
So I want to get that out there. And I won't go down the roster and name the kids, but I really like them. Well,
you told me before the season started we spend a lot of time together in the summer, and I'm in your golf tournament, which I wasn't this past year. My back was messed up. But there's so many times that you and I talk, and you told me last year before about the time school started, Cliff, I really love these kids.
Yeah.
I really like these kids. They're the reason that I'm continuing to stay at Manila. I really like these kids, so I believe that.
Oh, we had a big trivia contest on the way home last night, and just all those kids. We're just it's fun. I mean, we didn't play well, so we just we'll put that aside. But personally, I like being around them.
Yeah. Well, maybe they'll everything will come together starting next week, and maybe they'll surprise you.
Yeah.
And so
I still believe in them.
I know you do.
I don't really know what's wrong right now, but I still believe in them 100%. I know I'm supposed to figure that out, and I will before Monday.
Well, I like the idea of the games that you might want to play some film on, of some good games that y'all played earlier in the year. Might want to pull out the old Hoosiers tape or something, kind of remotivate them, But when you get into this time of the season, sometimes you get basketball weary or travel weary or whatever. So you'll pinpoint it.
I don't think there's any doubt that we were emotionally let down by not getting the tournament.
Yeah,
I mean that's another sideline. We really wanted, our seniors wanted to play the regional tournament in our own building, and that was a letdown. And you know how it is in January. You're tired of practicing, but you still have to. So it's just a lot of coaches are going through this right now. We're just about to get down to the stretch where it's going to get fun again, where the gyms are going to be full again, and it'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, hopefully I can get over to see you play a game. I don't know if that'll happen. We have a very tight and heavy schedule, but anyway, I'm keeping up with you in text messages and phone calls and newspaper articles and everything else. So, I'm with you.
Okay, buddy.
So, thank you for coming, and we want to have you on again. Okay, Coach?
Okay, Cliff. Thank you.
Thank you. We're gonna return in 5 minutes. We have Coach Trey Harding, the Greene County Tech girls head basketball coach, and we'll return in 5 minutes from Batten's Donuts with Double G Sports Talk Saturday on yourprimetimesports.com.
Your favorite teams play on yourprimetimesports.com.
Welcome back to yourprimetimesports.com, our final segment of the game, our final half hour of the broadcast, that is. And we're going to be talking with the Greene County Tech girls head basketball coach Trey Harding. Thanks for coming in.
I appreciate y'all having me in this morning.
We'd like to have you in here every Saturday morning. Now, I know that's not going to always be possible, but we love having you on. Wow, you guys are on a roll right now. One loss on the season. That was early in the season. You've won the last, 13, 14 straight?
I think the paper said 13, so I'd have to go back to double check that. I try not to get too caught up in how many we win in a row, because those are in the past, and the next one's an important one.
Two of those were holiday tournament championships, and then, of course, 4 in a row in conference play. You're undefeated, and you're headed for a huge showdown Tuesday night with the other undefeated conference team. Just happens to be your next-door neighbor, the Paragould Rams. What's going on over at Greene County Tech? What's the attitude? What's the atmosphere?
Well, this week was a big week for us, and we tried not to look ahead, because Nettleton's a great ball club, and we had them on the road, and then BB last night. And we got 2 big wins last night, and I told the girls in the locker room, I said, y'all enjoy the wins. You had a good week, and you deserve to enjoy this week, and enjoy Saturday, and then we'll come back in the gym Sunday, and I'll try to put together a game plan, and we'll start focusing on, Paragould Sunday. So, this was a big week for them. I know they're tired. That's, it's always hard to get up for 2 great games, and, but it's going to be, those were 2 tough ones. It's going to be even tougher next Tuesday. So
yeah. Now, do they ever talk about, publicly or privately, the Paragould Tech rivalry and how much more important it is even this year because of the fact that y'all are both undefeated? Do they ever say anything about that?
Well, they've, before the season and this summer, you hear Paragould this or, Tech this, and I think both clubs do, but I think, I'm sure Coach Cook tries to do like me. In this league, you got to take every game, and I don't know what they say behind my back, but we've done a good job this year really focusing on the next opponent, and I'm sure they'll get all they want this week. But you can't overlook your next opponent in this league, and I've really hit them hard with that. Of let's stay focused on who we've got next, and I think they've done a good job on that.
Let's talk about the next opponent. Everybody knows it. It's Paragould Rams. Both teams undefeated. Paragould defending conference champion. Talk about the matchup.
I mean, they're first of all, they got Coach Cook that does a great job. I look at him as one of the best coaches in 5A girls, and then you got Layrock, who's young, a scorer, and Walker, and Gill is solid, and Trepo and Dicus. I mean, their first five is they got 5 in there that can score. They're big, they're long, they can all shoot it, and it's a tough matchup. You're going to have to come to play, and it's going to be one of those where you can't take off one possession. So we're going to have to give it all we got, and they're a state championship top caliber team. This week's been a good week for us to prepare for. Hey, this is going to be like a state tournament. You got 3 teams in here, and I think the top 4 teams in our league.
That was going to be my next.
Run.
That was going to be my next question. Of course, there's only 4 games been played out of 14 so far, but you get some early indications on how you think it might shake out as to who the top 4 are going to be. Obviously, the conversation has to include Greene County Tech and Paragould. Who do you think right now, if you had to guess, the other 2 teams might be?
Well, right now, by looking on, on paper, on standings, Paragould and us are definitely leading it. Nettleton's got 1 loss. BB has got 2 losses, but it's 2 close losses to Tech and Paragould on the road at our place. And, Batesville, Blytheville are young, scary games, playing there. But right now I think those top 4 teams with Paragould, us, Nettleton, and BB are, right now sitting in the top 4 spots. But, it's like I said, when you go on the road, you got to look out for everyone.
You've already knocked off 2 of those. One of them on the road, so you got to like the way things are going so far.
Well, our strategy to the girls, I told them, we're not going to look at the state tournament. We're going to try to win this league, and I said you got to protect your home court and steal some on the road. And so far, they've bought into that, and hopefully we can steal one more tomorrow night or Tuesday night.
We're going to take a break, and I believe Clifton is going to come back and talk to you a little bit when we take our break. We've got just a little bit left to go in the broadcast. We're talking with Coach Trey Harding, the head girls coach at Greene County Tech. So we'll take a break, Coach, and we'll be back in about 3 minutes or so here on your Primetime Sports.
Okay, welcome back to your PrimetimeSports.com Double G Sports Talk Saturday here on a cast-over Saturday morning. Kind of cool. I have Coach Trey Harding with me on the air, and I was visiting, Coach, with Coach Bill Taylor over here a minute ago after we got off the air, so I'm not sure what you and G-Man Grimm talked about. So we may cover some same things again. But again, big win last night. It's even going to get bigger and bigger coming into Tuesday night. So, how are you preparing for Tuesday?
Well, right now I've watched some film, and studied up. I've tried to, keep the girls focused on their next opponent. And last night after the big win, I tried not even to mention it and told them to enjoy that and enjoy Saturday and come in Sunday, and I'll get you a game plan together, and we'll start focusing on them Sunday.
And I think they've done a real good job of that, and I'm going to tell you why. We had Megan Books, we had Lauren on, Lauren Hodge, and Allie Wilson last week on up here at Batten's last Saturday morning, and we mentioned games down the road or different scenarios, and every one of them would say, "Hey, we're just concentrating on next week's games." I mean, we play Nettleton Tuesday night, and that's what we're thinking about right now. That's what we're working on. So you do have that drilled in their head. So that's good that they're taking it one game at a time and not looking too far past an opponent. So Well, who stuck out last night for you in the performance of last night's game?
During the game, I'm one of these that gets caught up in the game, and then after I look at the scorebook and that type of deal. And I think probably the biggest thing, looking in the book, we had Brooke led us in scoring with 14, and Allie had 12, and Olivia and Lexi had 10. And when you can get 4 out of your first 5 starting in double figures, that's a good sign because they're all hitting on the same night. But I thought they, as a team, played a really good first half defensively. Their big 6'4" is big, which you may say 6'2". And then they've got their 2 athletic guards, and our goal was to really make them have to work hard that first half and try to get in their head and do a good job of just keeping the big one off the boards. And I think the first half we did a great job, and they made some adjustments second half, and they were too good of a team. I told the girls at halftime not to make a run, and I think we were able just to hang on. And in this league right now, it's let's get a W and move on.
Yeah. And how hard, I seen some frustrations on some of the girls' faces last night. Allie Wilson comes to mind, Brooke Tabor comes to mind, Megan Books fouled out. How difficult, and what were you telling your girls, how difficult was it for them to defend against a 6'4" player such as the girl that on the BB squad?
I think the first half, I think they did some good things. The second half, I know it's tough, but a couple of times we forgot to jump. We'd get position, and I don't know if it was tired, and we wouldn't jump with her. And it's one of them deals where you're outside, so you better outwork them. And I think the first half we did, but the second half, I think we can still guard her better than what we did. But, they definitely got an edge, but I think we should have the quickness edge. So I'm one of these that I guess was an undersized player and that type of deal, and try not to use that as an advantage, just work harder. So.
Well, and I did notice last night, I looked over the sideline one time, and you were jumping up and down like you were on a pogo stick. So is that what you were trying to get them to do, is to jump?
Well, some of these big games I get excited, and that's what I think I was probably telling Brooke Tabor or Allie. Allie had twice last night. She had great blockout position. And the girl was on her back, but she wasn't jumping to get her on her back. She just let her go up and get it, where if she just jumps a little bit, I think she gets tackled to the floor and gets that call.
Well, and I noticed last night that, especially in the second half, I think one of the things that helped us the most was if they did get the offensive rebound, if they brought that ball down below their shoulders, down around their waist, or that basketball went to the floor on a dribble, you had Lauren Hodge and Allie, and I mean, they were on it. They were on it. They were trying anything they could. I sat in on your practice Thursday, and I probably was there for, what do you think, an hour and 15 minutes? Yeah. And everything that you and Coach Wright explained to the girls on where they had to be, and you had certain girls that were certain jersey numbers that were going to be BB players in this practice, and they were going to do this cut, and you had to drop down low, and you had to, girls that weren't going to shoot for BB versus the ones that were going to. And I'll tell you something, that game plan came all together last night, because just about everything that you told the girls in Thursday's practice, I seen them do last night.
We scouted hard, made quite a few phone calls, and in this league you got to do it. I mean, to get any kind of edge, there's some great coaches in this league, and I've just got a hard time telling my girls to be focused and play hard if I'm not going to do the same. So I let them know up front I'm going to do everything I can do for them to get an edge, and going to expect them to play as hard as they can play. And that's always been my coaching philosophy. You try to get them in the right spots to be successful, and see what happens from there.
What is the difference in coming into the 5A East at where you have been over? You came from Valley View. and there's got to be an incredible difference in 4A versus 5A and the teams that are involved in all aspects. I mean, I know Valley View has some quality schools that they play against, and there's a lot of excitement. Obviously, one of them was last night. They played Westside, and that place was probably rocking like our place was. But what's the difference?
Well, I can, going back, Westside girls last year had some success, but the 2 previous years we had won our league, and it seemed like every year we had to prepare for Pocahontas and Highland. And, I think the caliber of opponents that night in, night out in this league are, you may be playing the 6th or 7th ranked team in the conference going on the road, and if you're not prepared, you're going to get beat. And I think just from top to bottom, it's tougher, and it's so much more physical.
Yes.
Our scores have been in the 30s and the low 40s, and they let us play, and that's probably been the biggest adjustments of physical play. And we play in the 5A with boys and girls senior high teams on the same night, whereas in 4A we were doing junior high girls and senior high girls, and I think that hinders the crowd and the atmosphere. And it's definitely, when you get senior high girls and boys in the same gym on the same night, brings a good crowd and atmosphere. And but that's been the biggest difference. We've had some. When I was at Valley View, we always tried to play quality 5A opponents, but it was always the reason I played the 5A opponents was to get us tougher for the state tournament, the top teams that you would see there. And we played Nettleton every year, and that was one of our biggest things. Let's go play one of Smith's teams, because they're going to try to beat the fire out of you on the court and get you ready. And now we're seeing that every night. And right now this year, this past week is I probably got some still laying in bed right now, whining about maybe being a little sore. So I'm hoping tomorrow we can come back. But we've had 2 games this week where they've had to play to the end.
Well, not only the physical aspect of these 2 games this week, it takes a mental drainage on you too. And I've always said that I've said this for years. I consider the 5A East, and I'm talking basketball here, girls and boys. I consider the 5A East the SEC of college sports. It's tough in the 5A East, from, like you said, from top to bottom. And you have to be mentally and physically prepared, especially when you go on the road to play these teams.
You do, and I think the boys is a good example of that. I mean, I think on paper, if you look at our Tech boys at the beginning of the conference, you might try to figure out where they're going to be. And I think their past 3 games is they probably went from trying to make it to the state tournament to where I told Coach Bowlin, I said, let's go win this thing.
Yeah.
And it's you never know what you're going to get when you play an opponent, and everybody's going to play hard. And, the size of schools that you're playing, those size of schools you're going to be able to put 5 athletes out on the floor. So
yeah. So has the new gym made a difference? I mean, I will say this. Now this was in the boys' game when Andrew Ferguson made the layup and we went ahead 44-43. The crowd noise was unbelievable. My ears were rocking. So I seen something, or I heard something last night. I'm like, wow. Matter of fact, I think I even said wow out loud. Is there a big difference in the multi and in the new arena?
I think noise-wise, it's the new arena. I think everybody's worried about being, the noise level, but it's definitely can bring the noise level, and it's not right on top of you like the multi was,
right.
But it's definitely loud and got a great atmosphere. I think you can, standing in line for the concession stand, things like that, you're still got a great seat. And everywhere in the arena, you got a great seat to see the game. And every time I walk out on the floor, I mean, our floor and the way the design is, everything looks like a big-time college floor. I mean, it's just a beautiful, beautiful floor.
We're very fortunate, very lucky, and I told Mr. Garish, I believe it was, maybe Mr. Weeks last night, I said, we've got a really good crowd here playing BB, who's probably, I guess BB's the farthest distance of all of our schools in the conference. So we got a really, really good crowd here tonight. I said, I'm really anticipating seeing how full this thing gets when Paragould comes in here in February. I think there'll be standing room only, and I think it'll be crazy, So, and obviously we go there Tuesday night. Their gym's a little smaller. It will be crazy in there too. So, atmosphere is going to be awesome. Now, who do you have besides Paragould Tuesday night? Who do you have next Friday?
I want to say it's Batesville. I'll be honest.
I think it is.
I'm bad about not looking ahead, but I think we got Batesville, and then the last opponent would be Blyville in the league that we hadn't played yet. So
and Blyville. So you go to Paragould Tuesday night, and then Batesville comes here Friday, and then Blyville will come here the following Tuesday, because I thought. There you go. I was fixing to correct you, because Blyville is our last broadcast, and it is with Greene County Tech. So away game Tuesday. The next two games are at home in the confines of the Eagles' Nest. So, well, listen, Coach, we've had a great discussion. We appreciate you, as always, to come and talk to us about Greene County Tech ladies basketball. The program is just like it's year after year. It's running on all cylinders, and we look forward to Tuesday night's contest at Paragould. So we're going to return in just a minute. How many? 3? 2. We're going to return in 2 minutes from Batten's Donuts with Double G Sports Talk Saturday, and Dave and I will wrap this morning's broadcast up, and so we'll be back in 2 minutes.
All right, welcome back. Double G Sports Talk Saturday here. Back to wrap things up in a nice, neat little package for you. Been a great morning here on the program, live from Batten's Donuts. We've got things coming up for you this week that we want to tell you about on our broadcast schedule. Tuesday, of course, we've been talking about this all morning long. Tuesday, Tech and Paragould will face off against each other. Now, obviously, we do the road games. We don't do the home games, so we're not going to be there. We will be. I will be. You will be. I will be on the road. I will be bringing you our first CRA ball game of the year, the first of 2. All right? We're going to be down in Wiener. Crowley's Ridge girls and boys will face off in a conference tilt against the Wiener Cardinals, and I'll bring you that live on Tuesday. Then on Friday, we're going back to Wynn, Arkansas. The Paragould Rams will play on the road at Wynn. We've already been there once with Greene County Tech, and this time it'll be Paragould on the road this coming Friday night. In fact, our next 2 in a row after the Wiener game, after the CRA Wiener game, our next 2 in a row will be Paragould road games, and then we'll be back with Greene County Tech the day after my birthday, February 3.
Yeah, I looked at our schedule last night before I went to bed. I wanted to see what all we had going on between now and end of conference play before we get into state tournament. So you and I both had to do a double take here. We're looking out the window of the Batten's Donuts, and we thought Coach Ritchie was still in town, may have spent the night, but that's his brother.
That's his brother. And you can't hardly tell them apart. The only thing that tells them apart is
he's taller.
This one's got a goatee, and Greg Ritchie doesn't have, or does he now? I don't know.
What's that?
The other Coach Ritchie, BB Coach Ritchie. Does he have Greg Ritchie? Does he have a goatee?
No,
he doesn't. See, that's the difference.
Yeah.
That's the difference between the two. Are they twins?
No. They're not twins.
Okay.
Coach Ritchie's. This is the younger one.
And he coaches, I believe, or used to coach anyway at Brooklyn.
Well, he had a Brooklyn Bearcat pullover on just then as he walked in. So I'm not sure. I know back, probably 5, 6, 7 years ago, Sloan Hendricks hosted the state tournament. He was there at that time, the girls' coach up there. So,
I remember that. I used to broadcast from up there,
well,
too.
Well, you were doing the broadcast, and I was doing all the sports action.
Right, when they had that state tournament up there, yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Holland had called me and said, hey, we want you to come up here and sell pictures, and that's pretty neat what you're doing, and shoot all the sports action, which you had a little bit more leniency back then than you do with the
don't get started
AAA
again. We'll be
now.
on the air on Monday, and we got to go.
I hope they hear it.
So that's going to do it for us. You know what's going on this week, and if you forget, you can always go to our website, click on events. It'll take you right to our broadcast schedule. Big sports day around the state, but perhaps no bigger game than the one that's going to happen in Fayetteville this afternoon. The Michigan Wolverines travel to face the Arkansas Razorbacks at the Bud Walton Arena. That's going to be a huge game.
What time does that come on?
I do not know. It's this afternoon, but I don't know the answer to that. And I believe it's also, is it on ESPN? I think it is.
I think so. One of my buddies is going to be there today. Brent Johnston told me he reffed the JV game last night, the 5 o'clock game at Tech and BB. And he told me at halftime, he said, guess where I'm going to be tomorrow? And I said, where? And he told me, I said, oh, my goodness.
Man, I'd love to go to that game.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be
He's a big Michigan fan. Yeah. And so he's going to be there. So, all right, wrap it up, buddy.
This will be on audio on demand by this afternoon in case you got somebody you want to hear it. Next time I talk to you, I will be doing it courtside in Weiner, Arkansas. I'm Dave Grimm. That's Clifton Garmrath over there, and we appreciate you listening.
Have a great weekend.